There's a new street fighter on your windowsill. The weapon is peace, the word is chill.
Hello there, gang, and welcome to another episode of Displaying Model Behaviour, the Earth's mightiest action figure video podcast. So take off your pants, crack a beer, and let's talk toys. Let's talk! Hoo-ha! The Retro Spider-Man 2099. What am I doing with this figure? I wasn't planning to buy this figure, but also I did plan to go to Forbidden Planet, and heaven forbid that I go into that store without buying something. And this guy, he was just on the shelf calling to me going, "Go on, Dave, buy me. I'm so pretty." And I was like, no, Spider-Man 2099. I already have a knockoff version of you. It's like, but I'm so much better with such tighter joints, nicer paintwork, and extra hands. And I was like, you know what? You're right. And when you're right, you're right. And with you, you're always right. So let's take a look at him. So here is my review of Spider-Man 2099. He needs to retire. I'm sorry, the Pizza Spider-Man body mold, I thought it was okay. I thought it looked alright in the box. It did look alright in the box. But then I take him out and this feels old. It just feels like a really, really old Marvel legend. I don't know what I was expecting, so maybe it's silly of me. But then again, is it though? Because this costs the same amount as any other Marvel legend. Ones that use new, modern molds that don't feel so flimsy, he feels cheap. And worst of all, you guys didn't see this, but the thighs were stuck like glue. The thigh swivels were not moving anywhere. I had to seriously dunk in hot water, and then you see. Look at this! This is what happens. This is after I've put them in hot water and hair dried them and loosened them up. They bite and twist so much that it split his upper thigh. And I'm not a big clumsy man-oaf. Maybe I am a little bit. But still, this shouldn't happen. This is cheap. This is the result of a mold being used and used and used and used and used and used and used. And I swear someone was just about to chuck it in the bin when some marketing executive was like, whoa, where do you think you're going? We can get one more mold out of this. And they were like, I can't do it, Captain. The mold has got nothing left. And they're like, I'm telling you, use this mold one more time. And they did, and it just feels like, what have I just spent my money on? It's not worth it. I'm sorry, I already had a knockoff version, and I was like, no, I don't need a proper official one. The knockoff one's fine, but he was rather loose and he felt kind of cheap. So then I bought the official one, and guess what? He feels kind of loose and kind of cheap. And it's like, in a year where I've bought Hercules, Red Skull, Dormammu, Ultron, like these feel like modern figures that are worthy of this price sticker. This feels like a figure that when he came out 5 or 6 years ago still would have been like, it's kind of average. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed that I foolishly spent my money on a whim on something I thought would bring joy, and what it's brought is a cracked upper thigh here, and just I am disappointed, as the internet says. Let's try and refocus, shall we? Let's look at some other stuff. So, like the Scarlet Spider. What am I saying? The Spider-Man 2099 design, it's a cool design. I had to go through a few of these on the shelf before I found one that didn't have any paint defects. Some were like missing little scuffs of red here and there. So this one is fairly safe. I like the metallicness of the costume. That's all kind of cool. What's a bit of a shame though is that obviously none of this here is sculpted. It's all just painted on. And it's like, come on, again. This is a full price figure, and you're just giving us paint and that's it, because there ain't no other details. This is just the pure pizza Spidey buck that we've had a bajillion times by now. He's got slightly bigger hands, bigger talons on his hands. That's a thing. That's a thing that we have, so that's cool. He also has the different Spider-Man hands too. We got the fists and we got the wall crawling hands, so it's nice to have the additions there. But really, this was money that was not worth spending. A lot of us, I think, were hoping for a new 2099 Spider-Man, maybe on the Sunfire buck or on the Retro buck with some sculpted details, stuff that would actually make it worth buying again. I blame myself. I blame myself for thinking, nah, you know what, it is worth buying. Look, I'm never mad about just re-releasing figures that people missed. Like, that's absolutely fine. But if you're using a mold that, I don't know, is just maybe so antiquated, like, it should be the cost of an army builder, you know, at least. But instead, it's a full-price figure that just feels like an old action figure. And that's a real shame. And look, this review is a little bit tainted. Why? Because I literally broke my figure while trying to articulate him in a way that, you know, you're supposed to. So that was annoying. And look, this isn't my first rodeo. I know sometimes you got to heat up joints and all that jazz, but these kinds of breakages, like, I'd expect this from a NECA turtle maybe, but not good old Marvel Legends. So this is a bit of a shame. I'm not going to go on for too long because you all know what this is about. It's a Pizza Spider-Man buck. I'm not going to tell you anything you don't already know. But while we're out here and I'm moaning away, we might as well look at some figure comparisons. So here we have Spider-Man 2099 just kind of doing his thing, but I think a better use of the pizza mold was Scarlet Spider, the retro re-release here. He's got the extra sculpting for the hoodie, he's got the lovely belt and the buckles. More going on there, makes him feel like a more modern figure, even though now technically he predates this guy by about 5 years. Now, a different Scarlet Spider, but a different buck as well. This is the Scarlet Spider Kane version, and he's on the Sunfire buck, which is a thicker, more imposing kind of look. And Spider-Man 2099 should be a more imposing Spider-Man, so it would have made sense to have done this again on a bigger buck. But this is the world we live in, folks. Now then, of course, the man himself, Peter Parker. We've got retro Peter Parker here, so I'm going to move Scarlet across, and you can see retro Peter Parker. He looks like he's jacked compared to Spider-Man 2099. This body mold again, so much more appropriate for this figure. It's a shame they went for just a basic, boring repaint. They missed a trick there. Now let's mix things up just for funsies. We are going to put the big old Select Titanium Man here, who does work with sort of legend scale, so really all this is doing is showing you how massive the Select Titanium Man is. So let's bring it back down more to the scale that we're familiar with. I'm going to move these two guys out of the way, and you can see 2099 next to the other more technological type Spider-Man. We got the Yamaguchi Iron Spider. These guys make a good pair together. I kind of dig that there. And then finally, let's take things over to the X side of things. We are going to move Iron Spider across, and let's see how this dude looks next to Mezco Cyclops. These guys, again, scaling wise, they scale really well. I'll see if I can get Psych to stand up. I shouldn't have made an uneven floor for this display base. That was really creating a rod for my own back, but there we go. Whew. You knew that was going to happen. So here we are, and this is kind of weird because I already filmed the outro to this video at the same time that I filmed the intro. Kind of sneaky there, not knowing how disappointed I was going to be with the figure. I didn't know he was going to break the second I tried moving his thighs. I didn't know he was going to feel wobbly and cheap, and I should have, because it's just a repack of a figure that came out 5 years ago or so. But the level of disappointment is just kind of palpable. I don't know, maybe you caught me on a bad day, Spider-Man 2099, but this really feels like a hollow sort of disappointment in Marvel Legends. If you are going to repack the same crap you gave us 5 years ago, at least reduce the price, okay? Because I got Tigra this year. She was a good figure. I got Hercules. Excellent. Both card-backed figures. Really impressive. Then this is just dishing out the same thing for a quick buck, and you can say, oh hey, well, we're giving people who missed it the first time round a chance to buy it. Oh, thank you so much. You know what, if I released a sandwich in 2015 and someone didn't buy it, I'm not going to offer you that same sandwich 5 years later. Go, oh, here you go, it's showing its age a little bit, but you know, you can still pay full price for it. No, not good enough. I'm just annoyed at myself. I should have known better, alright? I've been in this game long enough to know a swerve when I see one. But that's the worst thing about being a collector. That's a dangerous slippery slope that you all need to look out for, alright? It's feeling a little blue. Wanted to pick me up. What I got was a disappointment, which goes to show you that actually true happiness is not found in action figures. It's found from within. And that's what you need to cultivate, because this ain't getting the job done. Folks, thanks for watching that very surly action figure review. If you somehow enjoyed it on a masochistic kind of level, then be sure to like, share, and subscribe. But in the meantime, folks, thank you so much for watching. I am going to go and play with some good action figures that I know will spark some joy in me, so I'll be a lot cheerier the next time you see me. And until that time comes, bam! Keep displaying model behavior.